Hello everybody, welcome back to Motorsport Manager, Race 3 of our inaugural season in the Create Your Own Team, the Timmix Racing. Of course, we're dead last. We're heading off to Rio de Janeiro as there's like 7 drivers with no points. Among them is us. 2 teams with no points, among them is us. But right now we're just building toward the future. And now that we have our new designer, Katja Blomqvist, I took a little bit closer look at the part design, and we're going to be getting to that in just a second. First of all, we'll just check the mail here. A bunch of stuff from Phoenix. Interview with Aaron Andrews of ESPN. Which of our drivers is better? Not answering that question. Which drops our marketability from 1% down to 0%. Whoopee. Okay, pit crew review. We're about a second lower than what we did in the previous race. Unfortunate, but at least we didn't have any mistakes. Giovanardi, of course, got the win. And here's our first scouting report. We've got our new engine. Okay. So if we look at the scouting report for Annette Giorgi, interesting driver. Says that she's only average. I believe that's what he said. Something about being average. A fairly decent driver. Not a huge amount of potential. Don't expect her to improve much. Okay. So we can click on this if we want to keep her around as a favorite. Let's hold off on that decision. A little over 3 stars here, which would seem to be better than decent at our level. Like 3 stars, a pretty good driver for the lower divisions. You can see focus at 9, but everything else is average or a little above. Good marketability, not great, but good. Let's see what she would want for her contract. Starting at over $240,000. That's going to be too rich for us. And of course, we're looking for drivers at the end of the year. Not right now, but still, that's not something we're going to invest in right away. Pit crew, they want us to hire more people, or rather they're giving us new options to hire. We'll look at that later. But my inclination is still not to spend anybody money that I don't have to. And for the car, there we've got the lovely new engine floating around. There we go. So we do need to design. And having looked into this a little bit more, there's an interesting mechanic in the fire mod that, like the higher level components, as you go up average, good, etc., it was no added time in the base game, and then like 1 or 2 days here, and etc. And usually what went up the most was cost. That's not what fire mod does. Fire mod adds time. And so, like, if we were going to get max engines, that would mean this one, and this one, another 14 days. So it would be actually plus 2 days on top of that. So it would be over 40 days to get the max engine. And we'd want 2 of those, and then, you know, move on to the other parts. The bottom line is, I calculated off screen how much time it would take. It would take about 240 days to get the 2 each, 1 for each driver, the best parts we can get for all 3 of these. So even though there's 3 of them, only 3 parts to design, we still can't quite make that happen. Because we are in early April. So we would be in roughly the middle of December by the time we design the last part. And the 1st of December is our last race. So we wouldn't be able to even quite pull that off for the current year. So then it's a question of, okay, well, what would we want to drop then? And we could have done it, by the way, if we'd started designing parts earlier, but then we wouldn't have gotten the benefit of our new designer. So, you know, that's sort of a catch here or there. So what might not be as important to us? Well, a couple things about the designing of the parts. First of all, its design starts based off the best part you have, the current performance level. So, like, for example, for the spoiler, starts at 52 base, and the brakes 52 base, and I'll show that in a minute. But these are actually not, like, if I could max these out to 67 and get potentially a higher start. So that's one of the things that I want to do, is finish up with the engine, but boost the starting point, you know, for each of these. And you could also stagger them. Like if you work on the performance, I could stagger them. Like I could hit, max this out at 91, and then design a new part, so you know there's sort of a balancing thing there to do. But the problem is we really can't afford to wait for that. So we kind of got to go forward and then manage the performance improvements as best that I can do them. And everything we're doing right now, I'm going to focus for the future. I don't care as much about this year. I care about the future. All of that will change going forward, but not right now. So the engine, we've basically got 3 good parts we want. We don't necessarily want the red zone because we don't have weight stripping. And I got to kind of turn my head into that thing because without weight stripping, the red zone doesn't really help us. So we can get a plus 25 performance here, a plus 25 here, and a plus 40 here. For the brakes, tire wear efficiency is nice. Now I don't want to boost the risk level. And that's a gamey thing that you can do because the risk level will be knocked down to 0 at the end of the year. What carries over is your performance level for your best 2 parts of any particular kind, like best 2 brakes, best 2 engines, etc. I don't want to game the system by using the risk level, artificially boosting it. And then we wouldn't, I don't want just the during qualifying one. The deceleration, 40 and 25. So this one would be nice, but only for this year. And then we'd get those 2. So that's not bad. And then if we look at our spoiler, well, there's only one. It's plus 35. All the rest of these are plus risk. So clearly, the spoiler is the one that we could sort of do without. If we're going to do without one, we're going to do without the spoiler. So having said all of that, what I want to do is boost our engine. I want to keep going. I'm going to get the engine going, and then what I'm going to want to do is probably just drop off the spoiler, and that's the only one that I'm not going to carry through all the way on. And the other option is just to not go with 2 max parts. Like I could go with 1 max engine, but leave one a little bit short, like this one would be only 2 components, then grab 3 for the next one, not get a second 3-component engine. And what that would allow me to do is we'd still have 1 part next year as a better starting point, max starting point, if you will, the best engine we could have made to leap up our design next year. And that may actually be a better idea, to just save the time on one of the engines, because that's where we're going to get the most time. There's like 4 days and 8 days for the other part. They're not nearly as expensive. So that we boost the engine up, you know, save the time on the one engine and boost the other parts as much as we can. More of an even across the board type of thing. So in either case, no matter how we look at it, we still need this new engine. So let's roll that in. I'm pretty sure I do. We've still got plenty of money in the bank. And then before we can start working on improving our parts, of course, we got to do that lovely 2-day repair. There we go. And we've scouted a new driver. Ben Barnicoat. Oh, let's see what they said about him first over here. Let's see the little blurb. One of the weakest drivers, not a huge amount of potential. Fitness is his strength, not the best at driving smoothly. Okay, now see, marketability is a little below average. And that really, I mean, I want a young driver with good marketability. He is down to the just above 2-star range. So might be more in our price range. And let's see what he would want. Yeah, only starts at 80K. So if his marketability is better, I'd be looking at that as a potential option. Not really excited about him yet either. There's our cars finished. And with no weight stripping, I don't think there's much point in going above 80% on the reliability. So here's what I want to do. I want to hit my reliability a little bit higher on the brakes. But then I want to switch to performance. I want to boost the brakes up, like the better brake and the better spoiler, as high as I can, so that when it's time to design those parts, I've got a higher base that I'm working off of. Then, when I'm through with that, I can start working on other performance issues and whatnot for this year. Maybe one of these engines that I'm producing, I'll work on getting that out on the track a little sooner. But getting our designs better for the future is definitely the #1 goal at the moment. And everything into that. I think we're only going to want to go a real brief period here. 79%. Okay, one more day. And we've got more scouting. Ayla Agren, one of the better WTCR drivers. Not much potential again. Best at fitness, weak at driving smoothly. Another 3-star, or just over 3-star driver. She is beautiful, and which gives her great marketability, up to 98%. You can see she's above average or better at everything. Heck of a driver. Which is why she starts off at $276,000. Yeah, no thanks. We're just not going to have the money for that for quite some time. And if I take a look at our HQ, by the way, we've got 3 months until the design center's ready. So strap in and relax. Knock that little scouting blurb off. And in our factory, yep, we're up to 81%. Okay, so since this is the only guy who can do anything, I'm going to switch him over here. And I've thought about getting a new mechanic. I don't think I want to get a new mechanic. I don't think I want to spend the money. But if it turns out that his performance boost isn't enough to keep up with everything, then I will need to do it. But I think just getting the staff situated back and forth is the way I'm going to want to approach this. So let's get rid of those, and then, no, don't want the engines on there for performance. We're going to put the brake and the spoiler. Okay, yeah, so those will be basically done by the next race, and then we'll have a new max, part to base our design off. That's going to work really well, I think. And I think we're locked in at the moment, because if we look at our scouting, we're not going to have, anybody else till about the time of the next race. Our new part design is going to be 3 weeks away. So I think we're set to just push our way forward sponsors. And at least two more races for all of those. Okay. Got some new mail in, and we're looking at more drivers that are interested in, possibly taking a cheaper job somewhere. And of course, I want to continue to add those to our scouting as well. Always be looking for a good deal. Whoops. And induction to the GMA. Jean Todt is our president. You're now a fully accredited member of the GMA, Global Motorsport Association. You'll be called upon to vote on potential rule changes a few times a year. If you choose to abstain, you'll save that vote for another time. Allows team to focus on their own priority rules. First vote will start in 2 weeks. Okay, so I don't know if we're going to do it before or after the race, but that's coming up soon. The replace Black Sea with Beijing, and of course we don't care what happens with that. Let me just take another look up. We got another reserve, Felipe Massa, who's looking for a new job. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay, they're both up to 58. Well, that's still an improvement over what they were. And then a little blurb about our upcoming race. And our engineer, not really engineer, lead designer, Blomqvist, wants to watch our magnificent cars hurtling around the track. So the track in Beijing is likely to be good news for us. Huh. That's interesting. Well, I'm still not spending my vote on it. I don't care what they say. I think these other ones are more important. I do not want suspension systems developed, period. Do not want them. So we need to be able to spend our, especially with, we're talking about with the part design, we need to be able to focus our money on the 3. So definitely don't want that. Voting season is always fascinating, defines the face of our sport for years to come, and that is true. I like the long-term changes you can really work on there. Rio, 3.4 miles, 146. Likely to be some rain during the race. That's not what my forecast says. It says rain only during practice. And it's the engines that are going to matter most. Hey, we need to have a simulator. It'll help the team progress. Drivers can hone their skills and become more consistent. And boost our spoilers. Cool. Except that we don't have the money. We're building design center and factory first. And we're at 62 on those parts. It's delayed to a day after the race now. Okay. Alright, and we've got the vote. So that's going to come first. And Gianardi expected to maintain his top spot in Rio. But on the other hand, Team Ilsan says his car is likely to struggle. Don't really have a car for Rio, they say, to be honest. Anything other than 12th will probably raise the chairman. So the chairman will be upset if we don't finish 12th. I don't think so, because that's the worst we can do. So, yeah. And another reserve. Okay, time to have our vote. It's hard to predict what impact this rule change will have on the sport. Also true. You can take a look at the tracks here. We're going to get rid of the Black Sea, short version of it, and a fairly long version of Beijing. We are going to abstain, and if we had more than one vote, we could do this here. So, one for, one against, 2 for. We've got abstaining, but it looks like we're going to be going this way. Yep. Okay. It does appear, yeah, that passed easily. And if we'd have voted against it, it wouldn't have made a difference. It still would have passed. So we definitely took the best thing. And they said that's going to be good for us. We'll see whether that actually remains true. But we'll only get to race Black Sea once now, because Beijing is going to replace it. So, and the next vote starts 56 days, 8 weeks. And then we'll be voting hard against the suspension development then. That's going to be a really, really key vote for us. See where we're at on the improvements. Yep, almost there, but not quite. And our latest scouting endeavor ends with Bruno Canero. Say he's below average. Yeah, and low marketability. 3-star though. Really good fitness, pretty good smoothness. Let me just check out for sake of, yeah, 200,000. So again, I think that's above our pay grade, although we'll have to take a closer look at that down the road. So it's time to head off to Rio. And obviously only the one available sponsor, no change in our parts. And we are looking at, hey, guess what? Last. Again. Shocking. Low fuel, which is important to know. Alright, well, Brillhart and Lehane are now both at 6. And it looks like Brillhart having some sort of medical issue. Potentially, but in any case, you know what, I'm still gonna give her her experience, put her out there with Casino. And of course, we're going all in for our race tires, which are going to be the Super Softs, I'm sure. A little bit more acceleration. That looks about right to start with anyway. Let's get rolling. Switch to race trim. 7.0 for Casino, 4.2 for Brillhart as we get started. And this is a long Rio track. They all are pretty much. The only optional routes are this out here and this over here. So we've got one of the two optionals. And so there's not a big difference in length between any of the layouts. And being a longer track, it's going to be all we can do to get our race trim in. So that's really the only thing I even care about in this case. Sure, it'd be nice if you told me how. Okay, you want longer ratios. So it looks like we're looking for more speed. Neither one of them liked the setup. Ugh. So let's switch to more high-speed setup for cornering. Got some sharp turns. I'm going to err on the oversteer side, I think. Well, no, I'll do understeer, just because long gear ratios tend to equate to understeer. Okay, so maybe about there. And there. Yeah, that's a good try. Then we'll have Casino come in and see what he thinks. And right now, I mean, it's early, but it doesn't look like we're gonna, like, it looks like I might be stuck at level 2 race trim, which would suck. It's supposed to rain today, but it's not. It's going to get a lot hotter, though. Too much at the front end, which would also tend towards the higher speed. Okay. So everything's pushing in the direction of give me more speed for Casino also. And he'll come in. 72%, slightly better setup, but not great. So tweak that there. Let's try that. And then you want more speed, of course. Let's try there. I might be getting a little bit away from... Yeah. Don't want to make it too extreme. We're almost halfway to the first race trim. And yeah. Okay. Fine. But yeah, I don't see us getting above level 2. It looks like we're going to just be stuck at level 2 and have to deal with it. You can see our the fastest time so far, 2 minutes 10 seconds. It could take us a while to get around this track. Ugh. Well, we like those two. From poor to great, and then maybe just a tad more understeer. But the cornering needs to be, yeah, gave me the wrong deal. It needs to be like all the way down there. Then let's shorten this up. Okay, let's try just a little bit more oversteer then. And see how that works. Which means we're probably going to have the same problem with Casino saying, look, you put it in the wrong direction. For now, let's speed things up. I'd like to just get some laps out here and see what we can do with that trim. Yep. Way to give me the wrong information, Brillhart. I'm starting to regret putting you out here. And see, there again, we hit the other two. Up to 80%. Excellent and great. So what do we want to do with that speed balance? We had poor. So maybe a tad more speed. And I don't think you want the cornering as high, but let's do like there. Like that, and then bring this back. Yeah. That looks like that could work. Oh, and now it is raining. So now we're going to want to come back in to switch tires. Yep, it's just going to keep getting wetter. You know what, since we're about to hit level 1 super softs, as much as I don't want to just come right back in again, I think that's what I want to do in order to not make a mess of this. Both drivers liking the weight distribution better, so at least we can say that. It's going to be really close on getting the level 2 race trim. I think we're going to get it. Switch to inters. Yeah, just going to be wet for a while. Let's see what can we change reasonably quickly on this setup. So we were at OK. and then poor, and then good. This was okay, this was good, so we want more, lower speed there, and then poor, great, more acceleration. Let's try to keep that about there. Then if I do this, and then it might be a little far. Yeah, let's try it. Oh, wow. Okay. 99%. Oh, we're done with you. Switch tires, get out there. And Brillhart up to 8.4, and will be actually out just before Casino. Knock out that level 2 race trim. Gotta at least get that. Doesn't look like the water's going to completely go away till the end. So I think we can probably just ride these inters the rest of the way. And we're not going to have a whole lot on Super Softs. But it's probably not going to rain during the race. Such is life. And we got other cars sticking out there on their dry tires. At 9.9 for Brillhart. See what kind of time we get here. So we're actually going to stay out there long enough to record one, it would appear. Okay. Going faster than Casino, you can see, like, our times. Yeah, we're like a second and a half, 2 seconds back of everybody else. This could be brutal. This really could be a brutal race for us. Oh, we're really gotta back off these tires now. And there's race trim level 2. Let's have Casino come in and make one more adjustment. Brillhart can just stay out there because there's nothing more for her to accomplish. We're not going to hit any more race trims. I want to try to get Casino... Well, no, I'm not even going to be able to do it. I want to try to get him in for another adjustment of the setup. Oh. Well, we nailed that. Very nice. So, having them both nailed going into qualifying will help. Hopefully now that we're all going to be on dry tires, the only times we set were on wet tires, we'll get a little bit more sense of our pace compared to everybody else. We're so much better than DG Sport. Even our colors are better. I don't know what you're basing that on, but okay. Because so far, we're both terrible. Super Softs laps and enters. Really the only even useful things that we can take. Okay, so yeah, we're going on ultras. And 8 minutes on this long of a track. I think our only real shot at this is just to go out immediately and then go back out. Yeah. And our setups are right there. Let me just double check the percentage. 99. And 99. So we've got dual 99s. There's really nothing to change or tweak. Let's just get this done. That might be a little bit close together, but I want to make sure that if at all possible we get 2 runs. Wow, look at Lehane, 99.7. Casino's decent, but Bill Lehane looking great. And overheating over halfway, or less than halfway rather, through the warm-up lap. Crawling around the track, of course. Let's cool you off for just a bit while I dog on it. I got back up to good, but messed that up. Lehane down to 8. As he makes his way around. But we hit the tire temps for him. Still, 4.1 for Casino. Could be better. Track is good. No water coming. About to cool off a little bit. And I don't think we're going to get a second try. I think it's just too long. Lehane driving perfectly right now. Wow, and look at him. Up in 3rd position, well now 4th. But still, I mean, he's close to the leaders. That's remarkable. Not anymore. Benani, you know, striking out. Nagy getting in there. So some of the faster cars coming in. But still. And yeah, we're not going to get around again. So I would have been better off waiting, like, you know, till about 4-minute mark or something. 3.5, and then going out on a slightly faster track. Casino, 21st. Lehane, 7th. Remarkable qualifying performance by him. Is there any chance that Lehane might be able to duplicate that in the race? possibly get a top 10 finish. Very unlikely. But he will at least start closer to the front, which will gain him a few seconds merely by position on the track. So that could be interesting. Casino over a second further back. Is well ahead of Mueller, though. Mueller really did not do much. And quite a bit behind these. So, I mean, looking like something around the 20th for his pace. And possibly for Lahane's as well. We'll just have to see how the race goes and see if this can hold up. I believe that's Nagy's 10 form. I believe that's Nagy's second pole of the season in 3 races. And we've got some surprised people. Fan here says keep up the good work. And Eurosport's Jonathan Edwards says that we had a good effort. So people, you know, taking a small amount of notice of Bill Lahane's performance there. All right. Race trim. And higher engine modes no longer impact condition or super soft. And I'm going to go with this simply because the 5% performance maybe not as beneficial. Like if we had a 10% or more, I'd probably pick that. And Bill Lahane will do the race trim and the super softs. On to the weather. Far as we know, no rain that's going to come. And how did we lose? That's bizarre. It still says 99%, but it said, I'm not going to tweak something that's at 99, but why was it at 99 when, you know, like, they were all 3 excellent smileys? Whatever. We are going to go at 35 laps. Boy. Do I want to go with 2 ultras? I mean, I think I'm not going to make it on super softs. But I can go more. I will be able to go somewhat more aggressive on the super softs. I think Lahane is going to go on ultras first and then supers later, and that's only because of how far up he is in the field. Let's leave the fuel as the normal. And then Casino, starting at the back anyway. So let's go ahead and go on these. And yeah, he's going to get much less out of them. He wouldn't be able to make it on 2 ultras. Probably an ultra and a super, but he'll just stick with 2 supers. And yeah, I mean, I almost want to have them both go with 2 supers, but being in the front, let's just see how much we can hold. Use the faster tires. So, Lahane up here in 7th where he doesn't belong with an 8, but look at all the other drivers with high form as well, except for Vernet. And all the way back in 21st, a 5 for Casino. Okay, that's decent. Giovinardi in the back row. We're definitely going to be riding with Lahane at least for a while. Good start. Up to 6th. For the moment. Casino dropping positions. We're definitely going to want to watch these tires because they're going to burn out quick. Specifically with the temp rising. Lehane is back to 8th. Casino back to 23rd. It's a miserable, miserable weekend so far for Casino, who's at 4.4. Lehane is at 8. And holding on to 8th place for them. Oh, not anymore. And yeah, we're going to have to even go back to conserve on the tires. We're probably going to get blown by now, but we're not going to ruin the tires by frying them. And there's Casino in 23rd, looking to move up. And gets by at least one car there. Good grief. Forgot about your tires. So already, tire mistakes on the first lap. Switch back up to neutral here for Lehane. I think we're going to want to stop at about lap 18 and look at Casino in last. So we definitely need a good race from Lehane or this is going to get ugly. He's in 9th, trying to hold off a bunch of cars as the leaders have pulled ahead of him. Now back to 10th. I don't see him sticking up there, but again, all we really care about here is finish 19th or better to get that sponsor money. And that should not be a problem. Switch back to conserve and also neutral. Yep, and now Lehane dropping to 11th. Well, was fighting with Shedden. And still fighting. And okay, now losing the spot. Back up to neutral. Now we'll go up to neutral for Casino. Closing up lap 3 now. And it looks like Casino's going to hang out at the back. Lehane's going to try and hold off as many of these cars as he can, gradually falling through the field, most likely. Casino got a spot for Mueller and now is trying to hold it as they fight to avoid the ignominy of being the last car in the field. And does not hold it. About to drop back to conserve there for Lehane. Not for very long, though, or we're going to lose more positions. Let's go conserve for a bit with Casino. You try to get that spot back later. But neutral for Lehane. struggling there, and there goes Oriola. Probably another car. That's Compte, who is one of the DG Sport racers. Go neutral with Casino. And yeah, getting into the red, so let's go conserve. And we are about 3 seconds ahead of that 19th place position. Actually, 20th is the one that matters. That's about 3.5 seconds. And I don't think that gap is growing a whole lot. So we're definitely not safe here, particularly given how well Lehane is driving and still fading through the field. Go neutral again. Just want to try to hold off if we can. Just got back to the inside there. Yep, just barely able to get back in front of Tassi. That could prove to be important in gaining us those little bits of time. It's not going to hold long term, but you see Giovinardi again, 3 to 3.5 seconds there back in 20th. There's several cars in between. I'd like to keep that up as long as I can. And Casino holding just back of Mueller. And now we'll have to go conserve again. Lap 7. Just getting our feet wet here in Rio de Janeiro and doing reasonably well, I would say. Looks like we're doing all right at holding off Tassi, and also, you know, about maintaining about that same distance, free of the sponsor position. But I think we just lost it. Yep. Might as well go conserve here. We're gaining very little fuel back, so at best we're going to be able to go medium the rest of the way. Definitely glad I didn't was tempted to take out a lap of fuel. I'm sure glad I didn't do it. Go ahead and push back up to neutral. And Casino has now fallen 1.7 seconds back, so is just behind everyone. Driving reasonably well too, but just not fast enough. very open question whether we're going to get that position or not. I think we probably will. But, yeah, 3 it's staying between 3 and 3.5 seconds. Cars behind us gradually getting stronger comparatively, and of course we are among the last with the Ultra tires, so their tires are not going to wear out as quickly. Go back up to neutral. See if we can hold this off by going neutral a little bit more here with Lehane. Battling Montero, who also has Ultras. We did it for that moment. And I'm going to have to go conserve here again now. We are very slowly gaining fuel back. I think we're going to be okay on that, but I'm not sure. I'm pulled ahead of Montero a decent amount there. I'm wondering what the tires look like. Yeah, very similar. Very similar tire wear. Boy. Look at that gap for Casino. Driving well, but his car just sucks for whatever reason. Well, not for whatever reason. The other cars, I'm sure, are improving their parts. We have plenty of room to go neutral now, so it looks like we're going to be able to hold 15th, at least for the time being. And at the moment, 3 seconds. 3-second gap back to 20th, which is Coronel at the moment. I think we've got pretty good odds of holding 15th into that first pit stop. Morbidelli cut a corner and got up to second place, but if they're caught, the penalty will push them back down, and that's nowhere near what we have to worry about. Got about 5 laps or so until we hit that first and only, should be, pit stop. And Lehane now easily ahead of everybody back there as Montero losing a spot to Hemola, but we may not be able to stay ahead of Hemola, or we may. Casino down to just 2 seconds behind Muller. It looks like Muller's tires fading. That's starting to become an issue. And Lehane needs to conserve, but we've got a time gap here of over 1.5 seconds, so we should be able to make that happen. You can see DuPont running away with this. Morbidelli and Benani second and third there. And you've got fourth and fifth, Nagy and Tarquini. And then the pack sort of starts with Huff in sixth. Looks like our tires for Lehane are just going to get us to that halfway point. And now Hemola right behind. Still 3 seconds. 3-second gap to 20th. And with our poor pit crew, relatively poor pit crew, near the bottom of the field, that could be an issue. Under 2 seconds, but we've got to go conserve again. And I think I'm going to pit Casino up to 9.9. Wow. I'm going to pit Casino on lap 17, I think. He's in last already. What does he have to lose? Okay, let's see if we can hold on for a little bit and conserve and then go back to neutral as soon as possible. The car's really stacking up now behind Lehane. Only 2.5 seconds back to 20th. Back to neutral. So we've basically got 2 more laps here for Casino. And yeah, looks like our fuel is going to be fine. We'll be able to possibly push a little bit even later on in the race. Looks like Hemola's about to get it here. You know, let's go for that high for just a little bit. See if we can... Oh, yep, we did hold it off. Okay. Let's go conserve and high for a bit. Another lap for Casino before it comes in. Alright, now let's go neutral medium as we head into the more turny parts of the track. Casino, come in and make your stop. Eek. Got more tired pit crew than I thought. We're definitely going to go safe here. And I need to do a better job of rotating them. That's going to lose us some time. That could really hurt Lahane's efforts. Up to about 3.5 seconds again, though. He's holding it off so far. But if he loses a couple seconds of that on the pit stop... That's okay, you're coming in, buddy. And there's a couple others coming in. Here's lap 18. And we're going to go supers. Safe again. Lahane just veering into the red here as he finishes up this lap. Just going to let that go ahead and go. Up to 13th. We need this pit stop to go well and not drop us back too far. Although, a lot of cars not pitting yet. So, we're not going to really know for a while where we are. Still driving very well at 8.5. Here we go. Okay, no mistakes. That part's good. '21st. As a couple other drivers come in. I want to see how much fuel we're gaining per lap, and I want to do the using up whatever extra fuel I can for these guys. Get up further, and maybe other cars fall behind them when they pit. Muller having to pit, though, is good. So the two behind us, we have to catch two drivers. Lahane has to catch two drivers and stay ahead of Montero. This will be lap 20 that we're going to track it on. .13 just before he drops past the line. That's .03 for Casino. We did use high a little bit earlier with Lahane. We didn't for Casino, so that's the difference. Casino will have to drop back now to conserve. Lahane only driving at 5.4. I don't like that. Huff in the lead now. Cars having to come in and repair is helpful to us because that means their reliability isn't good enough and we may get past them. You're down to 0.09. So, yeah, 0.04. 0.03 to 0.04 is what we appear to be saving on a per lap basis. So both cars can afford to go to high. At least from a fuel point of view. Halfway through the race, I think we've got enough to do this as well. Although, got to be a little bit cautious of our parts here, but I'm going to go for it. Verne did drop below us, so we only need one more spot here if we stay ahead of Montero, and that lead has grown. Now these others way ahead of us, Tarquini and Nagy. But Richard, for example, will have to pit. 20 seconds. Giovanardi was behind us before, Coronel, so those are the ones to watch. Lehane down to 3.9. So he's definitely fading now. Go conserve. No, we'll have them both do it. Lehane 3.3. Yikes. And he's going to have to go back down to neutral on the gas also soon. Hamola came out just ahead. A couple seconds ahead. We weren't able to gain enough to get by that. 0.39, yeah, that's actually probably a little bit much. It's going to be close at any rate. We've got to cut that off. 12, 13 laps to go. And Casino will switch over now. Up to 19th as Philippi went by. 19th and 21st. Well, that's no margin for error with 2.5 seconds, I think, and falling against Montero. But it is the position we need to hit. I think very possibly Richard, Giovanaro, maybe even Giovanardi, maybe in Coronel will drop by us, but it's not at all certain. You can see Montero appears to be coming up on us pretty quickly. Let's get that conserve out of the way. Dennis DuPont into the lead. And here comes a bunch more coming into the pits. Good grief, Lehane. Drive like you've done it before. Oh, and almost up to 17th and almost 16th. As Giovinardi drops below us. Coronel does. Casino loses a spot to Philippi. I don't care. It's all about Lehane. Stuck behind McKellis. Didn't quite get by on that changeover. Richard, the only one who hasn't come in yet. But up in 17th now, we have a couple cars between us and a 2-second gap. Of course, there are also 10-11 laps to go. But if Bill Lehane could pull his head out of his ass and start racing worth a darn, we'd be safe. It does not appear that he's interested in doing that. We may not be safe. And Richard just keeps boiling around out there. 5th place. The only driver who hasn't stopped. And, I mean, he's going to try to finish on those tires. Just conserve them the whole time. 37%. It looks like that's what he's going to try to do. Might actually be able to get away with it. Down to 2.0. Casino driving 7.9, and it doesn't matter. And this is one of those rare cases. I'm actually going to let Lehane's tires go into the red, temperature-wise. Just to try to hold this off as long as I can. Maybe another lap or two, if possible. We'll wear them out more for later, but... once we get out onto this front straightaway, then I'm going to go conserve. There we go. See if that bit bought me enough time or not. Now we'll go neutral into the turn section again. We're keeping the tires hot, but hoping the others burn themselves out. We're only a second. We're a second ahead of Montero there. You can just see him. It's that 3rd yellow car. That's the one we've got to stay ahead of to get our sponsor bonus that we absolutely must have. And now back to conserve. Up to 2.3 at least. That's slightly less crappy driving than before. 8 laps to go. Now being pushed hard by Coronel. Driving alongside, trying to save it. And does for the moment. It looks like we might just flipped it. We're now up to 2 seconds ahead of Montero, though, back there. So I think we're going to get it. Once again, back to conserve. So going conserve on the straightaways, neutral on the turns, seems to be reasonably effective here. Casino 22nd. No crashes this race for the first time. Now pulling away, it looks like. Not by a lot, but Lehane appears to be, just pulling away a little bit from that group of three. Holding at 2.3 form. And 6 laps to go, it looks like. We've got a little bit of fuel to use, both of them do. I can burn that with Lehane if it looks like I need it. Right now it doesn't. It's now over 3 seconds. They keep changing places, fighting with themselves back there, except for Coronel. But it's 3.5 seconds, and they can keep doing that all they want. Lehane is going to be the beneficiary, and not look at that, up to 5.3 form. That's not hurting the cause at all either. 8 seconds plus up to anyone further up. And look at Richard now really struggling with the tires at 15%. I don't see how he can stay out there 5 more laps. We'll have to see. That could be another spot that we could pick up. Not that it really matters. 16th isn't any better than 15th. And there comes Richard back toward us. Let's just do the high just in case we're going to benefit from it at all. There we go. Personal best lap while we're at it. And Richard comes out in 18th. Lehane's up to 16th. Casino doesn't benefit, still back in 22nd. Seems almost certain to stay there. Huh. Yeah, you'll be okay, but I definitely don't want to push it all. And it's time to do some more conserving with Lehane. No reason to take any risks here. 5 seconds clear of 20th. And almost a minute behind DuPont. Looks like it's going to take it. Morbidelli second, Benani third, and Nagy fourth. Big gaps all there, and then it starts backing up with Tarquini in fifth. Half a minute behind. So we're only about half a minute behind sort of the head of the pack there. We're not a huge amount out of being competitive, but we definitely at the same point are not competitive. Nagy coming in. I wasn't expecting that. Picking up another spot with 2 laps to go. And I think we'll conserve a bit here. Then go neutral, try to hold off Nagy there, which I assume we will. So another race that was not a beautiful thing, but at the same time, we accomplish what we need to. We get the sponsor money, keep things going for our financial future. And it looks like, yeah, DG Sport is going to get their first point, which means we're going to be all alone in last. Lehane thinks that's an acceptable result. Casino does not. DuPont with the easy win. And Morbidelli, 10-second penalty, and ultimately cost a shot at the win. We've got pole position for Daniel Nagy and the fastest lap for Robert Huff. 15th, just over a minute off the pace, 71 seconds here. And we are now 23rd and 24th. Only 4 drivers who have not gotten a result yet. And we are dead last now in the points standings for the team. Sebastian Loeb, Mulsanne, BRC, Zengo at the top. And then Comtoyo, who won that time, and Ivan Muller, sort of that top 6, well ahead of everybody else. We have a crazy awesome driver line, Miura Mazeballs. Stop going nuts over nothing. We got some new traits. Let's see how we're doing here. No change to those abilities. Boost to driver relationship. Marketability goes down after we come in 11th. How does that work out exactly? Top 15 results. Let's not talk about last race. Okay, yep, that's where it is, coming from those traits, and it'll only last for a week, so yuck. 5.9 form, 6.0 on the season. Lahane's best race by far. Whereas Casino, who was 15th last time, dropped down below. So, I mean, we're getting at least one of them every race, except for Vancouver, where we finished 21st and 22nd. The last 2 races, we've got them up there, but that may not last. And we get 488. We get the payment for being in last place. Yay. But it does boost us. Okay, so we've got the new engine built. Let's move on to our next round of design as far as that's concerned. I think I do want to now hire some new pit crew because I think we're going to need more, and I want to try to get in to stay up in, you know, a decent finish, try to keep getting those sponsor bonuses. The only way I'm going to be able to consistently stay out of the 20s, I think, is to improve that, get a little bit faster pit times, maybe be able to go with the balanced ones more often. Not going to invest a ton in it, but I do want to get some more people to rotate in. But all that will be coming up next time, when we will take our first and only, it appears, look at the Black Sea. Till then, thanks for watching. More Motorsport Manager on the way soon.